Okay, when I was a kid, I was just young and naive. I wore my heart on my sleeve.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Social Media Revivalists. Today, I am so excited about our guest, McGarren Clouser, who is coming in from Indiana. And dude, McGarren, I'm so excited to hear, man. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited just to get to know you more and just talk about our stories and stuff like that, and just really share what God's been doing and stuff.
Yeah, man. No, thank you. And as you guys know, Social Media Revivalist is really all about where we hear stories of what Christians are doing online and how that's making a real life impact and bringing real life revival. And McGarren is one of these guys who's really taken the lead and put himself out there, and maybe has gotten a bit uncomfortable to make sure that God's word spreads not just to people that he interacts with in real life, but also on their phones. And McGarren, I mean, obviously, you have accumulated a wealth of knowledge in this world of social media and how to share the gospel and how to love people through social media. But we want to hear more about you. So, other than the fact that you have like 165,000 followers on TikTok and like tens of millions of views and all of this amazing stuff, we want to hear more about you and about your story and who you are, and really your journey to where you are right now in this moment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just to take it like way back, I would say, I mean, like, so I'm super blessed to grow up like in a Christian home in an amazing Christian community back here in Indiana, and so I feel like I've really known the Lord since like a really young age. Absolutely, like I've had my ups and downs in that relationship. Veered off the path a little bit before, but just being built on such a solid foundation of community, of the word, and of truth. God's never really let me stray too far from that. He's always kept me close enough to where he was always able to bring me back whenever he needed me. Until finally, like I just finally like submitted it and was like, all right, yeah, my life is totally yours. Like everything I do is going to be for you now. So I grew up in a small town in Indiana, like really small town, like got to drive an hour to see a movie, got to drive an hour to sit down at a restaurant, so there wasn't a lot to do. Just so sports is a big part of my life, friends, big part of my life. So that just carried into high school. I was pretty much like the classic American Christian kid, like American Christian athlete that you would see, that you'd think of. Like when I play my sport, I say all glory to God and stuff like that. Like I know the right things to say, but in high school, I never really knew, no one ever really modeled exactly what it looked like to have like a personal relationship with Christ for me. I heard that term and those words thrown around a lot, but I never really was sat down and taught how to do it in my day-to-day life. It was always based off of Wednesdays at youth group, Sundays at church, and then church camps in the summer. And so that led to my faith being very event-based, very non-personal, while still very a big part of my life. And I knew it was so true. It just really didn't reflect in what I did in my day-to-day. And so that led to me going to college, caring more about sports and my faith, I would say at that time when I was 18. So I went to play basketball at a small school in Indiana because that's all I wanted to do. I didn't really have anything else in mind other than continuing to play basketball as long as I could. And so at college, I realized, wow, like there's no one around me that I know that's a Christian. I don't know any churches in the area. I don't know a youth group on a Wednesday to hang out with. Like, I don't have any of this community backing me. So it's like, if this is what I really believe, I got to start doing this on my own, I guess. And so through that, I just started reading my Bible on my own. Like I remember first book I read, like I just dug into Acts and I was like, I'm just going to read it. I had no idea really what I was doing. But just through that, God was faithful and honored that he actually just like poured out so much on me and just called me back to him, like to my first love. And basically like extended the invitation for me to stop worrying about my own life and my own kingdom and making money and playing sports and doing all the things I cared about and start helping and building his, which is so free, so easy, such a light burden. I was like, and I just said yes. And so that's a big part of my story so I transferred to go study ministry. I transferred to Indiana Wesleyan, where I graduated from, and just fell in love with just Jesus there. Really met the most amazing community ever in a college that I've ever experienced, and really just got lit on fire. It was definitely a long ride. I had my ups and downs as well there, but come like junior year, really God just confronted me and like blew everything up in my life that I thought I had. And I was like, yeah, I need you more than I need anything else. And until I have you, I'm going to be empty. And so I just went after it for real, like for real junior year, and like never looked back since. And so that led to me meeting YWAM and Care the Love my junior year. Circuit riders, getting introduced to them, and I was like, wow, this is an amazing ministry. I want to do this. I don't want to do whatever I thought I was going to do before, which I don't really remember what I thought I was going to do. But so I did a thing called 21 Project in the summer, which is 2 weeks in Hawaii of just amazing, intense, like discipleship, going after God, teaching, like the best 2 weeks that you could have. So if anyone's interested, definitely do 21 Project. It's life-changing, and it's 2 weeks in Hawaii a lot of times, or wherever else they have it. So it's not too bad of a time either. And so it's amazing. And they have the same thing like for infusion in high school. I wish I would have been able to do that, but I didn't know about it. And so after that is actually when like TikTok became a thing. I don't know if you want me to talk about like that in this, or get to that later.
Yeah. Well, let me pause you real quick. Just to say, there's one line that you just said that, like, man, what a powerful word you just gave. You said something along the lines of, Jesus, if I don't have you, I have nothing. You know, and it sounds like, bro, like you like had a lot of good stuff going for you. Like you're playing sports, like you're going to school, you had things in your future that like you probably could have achieved, but what a realization to come to that place where like you were probably like in a good place, like by you know the standards of the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
But like you got to a place where you personally decided to say, this is not enough for me. And I think that was so powerful. So I just wanted to like reaffirm that and to say thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah. That was a big moment in my story for sure.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good, man. Yeah. Well, let us know. Yeah. Like what sparked your interest and in sharing your faith on social media to begin with? And then tell us more about how it got started on TikTok.
Yeah. So, it really, I know a lot of people. So this was in the summer of 2019, I believe. And at this time, TikTok wasn't really that popular of an app. It was kind of like just starting to get big. Like it was on the brink of like what it is now is so much bigger than it. Like I had no idea what it would turn into.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it actually came from two of my best friends from high school.
Okay.
Who are still like two of my best friends today. One of them was like YouTube famous in high school for a game and stuff. And so TikTok actually like reached out to him.
Oh, wow.
And he and his, like our other best friend, he was like, they wanted him to join. And so he's like, can I do it with a partner? He's like, absolutely. Like TikTok was reaching out, like trying to grow their app and their influence by getting other creators from other platforms to join.
Wow.
And so they ended up like going all out to be on TikTok, to be like TikTok creators. And they're super good at what they do. And at this time I didn't have TikTok. This was maybe a month before 21 Project.
Okay.
I would say like that summer, so the beginning of the summer. And I was like, I don't know what TikTok is. Like to me, it was like a goofy app that I didn't even know about. And the people said it was cringy. I didn't know. And so they got it. And so I downloaded it just to watch their videos and support them. And I was like, their videos are funny. And like, that's the only thing I did. I didn't ever use it.
Yeah.
But they grew, like they had like 40,000 in like a month or two. I was like, to me, I was like, wow, like that's incredible. Like that is, because like at that time I had no idea like people had so many TikTok followers and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So through that, they actually got invited out to like a TikTok thing in LA, like while VidCon was going on. And one of them ended up not being able to go. So my friend Coy, he was like, do you want to come with me? And I was he asked me this like Wednesday night maybe. And we left Thursday at like 6 a.m. was our flight.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
For sure. So we got on a flight, we went, so I met like a bunch of famous TikTokers that I didn't know who they were until afterwards. He would tell me like, oh no, that was this. But I was like, oh wow, like I had no idea like they have this many million followers. It was just a cool environment to be in. Like totally new for me. I've still to this day I've never experienced anything like that weekend. And so because of that, he was like, you should probably make like a TikTok account just because you're going to this place. You know what I mean? Like to be able to say you have one. And I was like, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I made an account. And then I was flying like essentially straight from LA back home, straight to Hawaii. So I got back Saturday night and I flew out Sunday morning to Hawaii. It's like to 21. And so on my way back home, I like checked out the app and I like just like had some fun like editing like a video or something from the weekend. Just had some fun with the app and I posted it. And I don't know, it was just like a dumb video. Like it wasn't funny. It was just a cool thing. I thought I just had fun editing it, honestly. And so that's how I started. And then totally forgot about the app, went to 21, didn't ever use it. I get back and I'm just up late one night, like totally bored. I'm like, I don't know, like I guess I'll just make some TikToks for fun. And I make like 4 one night, like the first night, like probably like August 1st, maybe something around the time. I'm just getting back, and I make like a couple ones, but I made one that like had to do with Jesus and stuff. And so for me, it was never like I didn't get TikTok to share my faith and to be a Christian TikToker or and like share my gospel. It's just such a part of my life, and it's like all of my life at this point, and it's like it's just who I am, that it just came out in me making random TikToks.
Yeah.
And so I made like 4 in one night, and the one that did the best was like the Christian TikTok, like the Jesus TikTok. And so I just kept making fun ones, making ones about Jesus, just like making TikToks for fun. And every time I would make one about Jesus, it would just do better. And I would like gain more followers, and like people would like it and stuff like that. And we get more views. And talking with my friends, like who are at this point now, like TikTok famous and stuff, they're like, no, like you're kind of like in like a niche of TikTok. It's pretty weird. Cause like Christian TikTok wasn't a huge thing then at all. I remember like seeing Grayson with like maybe a couple 100,000 followers at that point. And now I think he has like a couple million, which is crazy. And like, I remember the first time Grayson commented on one of my videos, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And like Kika and like Mariah Casey. And like, I was like, and like, I remember me and Jacob Campbell had like a interaction back and forth where like he like congratulated me for hitting 20,000, and now Jacob has like hundreds of thousands. It's so funny.
Wow.
To look back and be like, wow, like somehow like I was on like the frontier of this like going forward. And so I just decided like, okay, like God, like this is totally yours. I'll just use this just for you, like just to make Christian TikToks for you, essentially. And so that just took off, and like I was like, all right, this is what that is now. Like, and so whatever that looks like, whatever I can do just to make like spread the gospel, show people the love of Christ. Like one thing I really like doing on my app is like showing that like you can be fun, funny, have a good time. Like you can have a great life and like a fun life while being a Christian, and actually like it's so much better. And so like it just took off from that. It started as like, oh, I'm a Christian, so when I make TikToks, some of them end up being Christian, that end up being like, no, like, okay, this is like all for Jesus, basically. Like, I'm going to make Christian TikToks. And the community and the Christian TikTok world just like took off after that. Like, not from me or anything like that, but just from like other people seeing Grayson, Atika, Mariah, me, like Jacob, like they see that and they're like, I can do that for sure. Like I'm a Christian, I want to do that. And so that like I just like it's super cool to know that like what we all did as like Christian TikTokers really inspired so many other people, because like now you see guys that are just amazing at what they do. I'm like Elijah was so big, and like I remember like there was an old Discord group chat like that doesn't get used anymore. Like I didn't even know what Discord was. It was like, hey, like I wanted, like someone invited me to like a Christian TikTok Discord, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but sure. And like Elijah was in there, like Grayson, all these guys, all these girls and stuff, and they're just amazing. And just the way they've inspired like a whole generation to share their faith on social media is incredible. And then I mean, you see so many other guys like just all the studs of Christian TikTok like that have just taken off since then. It's been incredible. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of it. Like like, I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's like, here I am. And so
Hmm.
I'll just keep going as long as I can. Like, I guess it's like, it's not a huge, like, it doesn't take up too much time for me. It's not a huge time commitment to make short TikToks and stuff like that. And it's like, as long as I'm not too, like, I want to be present where I am no matter where that is.
Yeah.
And so as
Yeah.
long as I can do that and make Christian TikToks at the same time, make Jesus know, it's like, I'm going to keep doing it. And so it's just been a blast, and it's still so much fun. But I love it. Yeah.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. And it's really cool to see, like, yeah, like there really has been, I wasn't there, you know, I just hopped on TikTok similarly to you just to like see what's going on. Quarantine hit, like we were bored out of our minds, like let's get something else going. And I had no idea that this whole like Christian TikTok thing was a thing. And to like just naturally, I guess TikTok knew that I like Christian stuff, so they just started pumping stuff my way. And to see you and all these other guys, and but not know, you know, I didn't know this backstory. I didn't know where that all came from and how it got started. And so, first of all, it's so cool to hear that, and so cool to hear kind of the part that you had to play in that, and the way that it really is like it. Like one of the questions that I wanted to get to is like, how is this having a real life impact? Like, give us a story or two, and maybe you can even give us like a more specific story. But I love this. Like, I love what you just said about, you know, there's a whole generation. You said a whole generation has now been inspired to go share their faith on social media. And I think that is mind blowing. Like, how cool is that? So I guess maybe give us, if you have like another specific story, like if anybody like has reached out, or you have a story that is just like, oh wow, this is so cool how God has used me through this ministry in someone's specific life, or something like that. Is there something that comes to mind when you think of that?
I mean, there's not like a huge story like of like, but there's just a couple of like little ones here and there that like they always pop up, and every time it's just like so like humbling, and like I'm like just like, wow, like it doesn't, like it baffles me every time that like God is so good and so faithful to people, and that like what I'm doing actually does have an impact, because like being online and stuff, and so I'm not like giving messages to people right in front of them and seeing the impact, so it's like always really weird to hear it. But like of like receiving DMs and stuff, just of like people reaching out just to want to encourage me, and tell me that like, hey, like I just want to let you know like what you're doing is awesome, and like your TikToks have really helped me in a hard time like grow closer to God. Or hey, I just wanted to let you know that like your TikToks have really inspired my faith. And it's like,
That's it.
who am I? Like, yeah, who am I to like inspire? Like, it's just so wild. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm just so thankful that God is so good in that way. And like, there's one I remember, I received a DM that was like, I just wanted to let you know, like, I'm getting baptized this weekend, and like your TikToks were like a huge part in like that decision, and like inspired me to do that. And I'm just like,
It's amazing.
like, yeah, like that just blows me away. It's like what I'm doing seems like, to me, it doesn't seem like I'm doing like much at all, but then like to some people, like really is like shifting eternity for them. And it's just like mind blowing that would even happen. And then a funny story like that, I realized like, oh wow, people actually like recognize me kind of and stuff. I was helping out at a youth conference with my school called Follow. It's like the big Wesleyan church youth conference. Every 4 years it happens. So there's like 5,000 kids that show up. And I was helping run a booth for IWU with a couple of my friends just there to help out and serve. And like there were like a decent amount like of like young kids, high schoolers, middle schoolers, however old they were, that would come up and ask for a picture for me and ask if I'm the McGarren from TikTok. And I'm like, that's so funny.
Wow.
Like I've never been recognized for anything before. And so like taking pictures with like just awesome people that follow me and just love what I do. It's so much funny. It's so funny. And then actually, so this past, so like with Circuit Riders and stuff, Mariah Casey is actually a part of Circuit Riders as well now. And so like, I remember like she was one of the first people I ever followed on Christian TikTok. She's been around since like day one. And she told me the same thing actually, which is crazy. I didn't realize like that, but, and so it's so cool. Like we now are like running together, doing ministry together, like out in the real world. While at the same time, both of us have been like Christian TikTokers since like the start of like Christian TikTok. And it's super cool to see like our paths cross like that. And so that's just super cool. Like, so what a small world we live in. Cause I had never talked to her until I saw her post about doing circuit riders. And so I was like, whoa, I'm doing that too. And it was like super cool. And now we're super tight, and Mariah's just amazing. And it's been super cool to get to know her and talk to her with like about TikTok, about her heart for it and stuff like that, and everything that is going on in her life with it. And so that's super cool. And we'll definitely continue to be in ministry together. Obviously, it's only been a few months, but I just can't wait to see more happen with that. And so like, and see more and more like Christian TikTokers like running like in the real world while online at the same time together. That's going to be super cool and super impactful.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I love that. And I love like not only not like it's now extended beyond that social media presence. It's now real life presence, and just yeah, like so cool. And I think like the reason that these kids came up to you is not because like, oh, famous TikToker. I think it's because they really like, they love McGarren and they love what he's sharing and how they're like he's inspiring them. And so I just, I want to affirm that in you and in the ways that this is really happening in this Christian TikTok and the social media world, this Christian world. I really do think that people's lives are changing. Like hearing these stories, like people saying, I'm getting baptized and you are a huge part of that. Like that is mind blowing. Like who would have thought, like who would have thought that is something that happens. But like praise God and thank you for doing what you're doing. That is so cool, man. So I guess here's a question for you. How obviously like you were developing in your faith like significantly as you were getting closer to like starting TikTok without even like recognizing that was something that was going to happen. Once you started with TikTok and once you started sharing your faith on TikTok, and from then until now, has there been something specific that you have learned or something that has developed in your own personal faith from doing that?
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think of like how to word it. I would say, so this is probably the most recent thing that I can think of, and it's been like within the past few months and everything. And so one thing that definitely I have like matured in and grown to like really like learn and stuff is, so like I'm the youngest of 3 brothers, and I'm a huge like debater and arguer. Like I wanted to be a lawyer growing up and stuff. And so I love debating things like, and a lot of people think of it as arguing and stuff. So you can call it arguing, but like, I don't like, not to where like people are upset, but just like where like there's like, it's boring to talk about things that like people aren't passionate about, but I love to like talking about things from different perspectives and point of views that people are passionate about. And so in a way, like arguing, debating, whatever it is, I love doing that and I always have. And so that carries into like the comment sections of Christian TikTok, of making videos and stuff like that. And I've learned that like I'm not going to convince anyone into believing the gospel. I'm not going to debate anyone to believing in Jesus, but the only thing that I can do is like show them like the love of Jesus. Like no one rebuked me, no one convinced me, no one argued me into following Jesus. Like that never happened. And maybe for some people it's what they need, but that's very, very far few in between. And so just like growing in that, because like I could talk and like go back and forth with people all day on things. And so like, because I enjoy it, but a lot of people, like for them, they're not enjoying it. They feel they're being attacked, or however they feel about it may not be the same as me, because a lot of people don't feel that way when it comes to like debating and stuff like that. Like they don't like that feeling. And so even though I do, and so I've learned that like I really have to step away from like comments and stuff and videos that like are wanting to like incite things like that, or things that I see are one way that someone I may not agree with, or whatever it is. And so just learning that like the biggest thing I can do, especially when it's TikTok and the interactions are so short and it's not face to face, and they just like, and we don't know each other, like there's so much more that goes into it, is that the best thing I can do is like really just show them the love of Christ and encourage them, pray for them, affirm them in the things that they're doing well. And so like with that, like I've grown in that, and that has like, from that has grown me in my like actual like day-to-day life as well, learning that like, man, like I just want to love people. Like I don't want to focus on debating. Like I can do that with my close friends. I can do that with people I know. But like for people that I interact on the street, it's like, or interact with in my day to day, it's like, and on TikTok, it's like, man, like how can I love them best in such a short time? One of my friends, we were out on the street, just like sharing the gospel, this past probably a month ago, maybe not quite a month ago. And we were walking around and she goes, she's like, we were talking about what we wanted to do today. And she said like, I just want to like learn how like we can love someone best in just like a short like 2-minute interaction that we get with them. And it's like that like really stuck with me. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Because like it took me so long to figure out like what the gospel really meant to me. It's like I can't expect people in 2 minutes on the street or in 2 minutes on TikTok for it to like really hit them at that time. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But like the biggest thing is like, how can we love people best in this short interaction? And so that what she said has really stuck with me in life and on TikTok and stuff, and just the correlation of everything that's happened with that, like leading up to that, like it like really was like a climactic moment in like that realization. And so I would say that's a huge thing in my faith that has really, TikTok has helped me in my own way. And so I love that for it.
Love it. Wow, man, that's a huge life lesson to learn, you know. And I'm sure if you hadn't learned it from TikTok, you probably would have learned it after a nasty debate with somebody who disagreed. But yeah, that's so good. And you know, like, you know, I've been following what you've been doing for, I don't know, since the beginning of quarantine, really, when I downloaded the app, and you know, have seen like some of the highs that you've been through, and then have seen like some of that stuff, like people really coming at you, and like obviously just like, so like I hurt when I see that, you know. I am saddened when I see you know, just these kinds of things that happen online, and you know, we've all been victims to something like that, whether it's social media or somebody texting us. And obviously like an impersonal attack like that over social media can have just like implications that we don't necessarily see in the real world, because it's a faceless interaction. And it can get really tough. And for people who might have like been going through something like that, what's some advice that you would give? I mean, obviously I think what you just said is a really huge piece of advice of like, hey, your call is still love people, not just fight back. But if there's anything else that you would share on that, because you've been through it, like what would you say to someone who's going through it?
I would say just like for real that like I don't know, it's pretty interesting for me, like my personality, the way like God's made me to work is very like, I'm pretty unfazed by a lot of things, like that kind of thing. Like they don't like really get to me as much. And so, but a lot of people aren't really like that. Like words carry a lot of weight for a lot of people and stuff. And so for some reason, like I've learned to like really like, the best thing I would say is, so I learned, my professor used this analogy, and she was talking about with counseling and stuff. Cause like when you're counseling people, people are going to like give you a lot of heavy things to carry, but it's not our responsibility to carry them. And so she uses this analogy of like wearing like a raincoat, like a slicker, she calls it. And so like when people say these things, when people like throw these things at you, like make sure like you put on like your slicker, that so they'll just run off. Like you'll feel them, maybe, sure, like you'll notice it, but in the end, like it won't get your clothes wet, it won't stay with you, it won't be heavy, it'll just fall right off. And so whatever someone has to do to basically put on that slicker, I would say is the best advice I could give if people are like coming at you with like negative comments or whatever it is, arguing with you, and you don't really know how to handle it. And to me, the best way to do that is to really know your word of God, and like know what God has to say about you, because he's the one who created you, and he's the one that gets the first and final word in who you are and what you mean and how valuable you are. And so it's one thing to like say that and to know that that's true, but like you have to spend time like in your word, reading it for yourself, spend time in prayer, talking about that with God, being honest with him, like deep prayer, and in worship, like just worshiping him. And so the more that you can just get alone with God and you can listen to him tell you who you are, the more that will carry out into your daily life, into reading comments, into interactions with people in the real world, where someone can say something about you that isn't true. And rather than being because the enemy, his favorite thing to do is to lie to us and get us to believe the lies. So the only way we can defend those lies is if we're rooted in the word, and we spend time in it every day, at all the time that we can, and we really just ground ourselves in that. And that's our first and foremost thing that we have, because like scripture says, like if we're not rooted in the word, if we have no truth, like we'll be like leaves blown about by the wind. We'll be like waves tossed to and fro. We just will be swayed by everything that everyone says about us. And so being rooted in the word really helps that. And then one thing that has been repeated a lot over the past few months to me and in circuit riders is that if we live like off of man's praise, then we'll also have to listen to their criticism. And so as much as we love to hear people praise us and tell us how good we're doing, we have to realize that those words truly aren't, they're good, but they're not nearly as meaningful, and we don't get and we're not defined by them. Like they have no impact truly on who we are, because God already defines us fully. And so we have to learn to appreciate those and be so thankful for those, but not be defined by the praises of man, so that we will not be defined by the criticism of man too. And so those go two and two, like those go together. And so I would say that's just some of the best advice that I could think of that's been given to me that has really helped me like not be as impacted as I could have been, or not be dragged down by words and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. That is so good, man. I love that. And I think that's so powerful. And what a word, almost like a just like, people, please listen to that. Like everybody, like if we could really live by who God calls us to be rather than what people call us or what we even aspire to be, like if we see ourselves as God's creation, dearly loved children, man, like what a world of a difference it would make for our own like self-esteem and for our own ability to like share the gospel. I think there's so much more confidence in sharing God with people when we know that whatever they respond to us by, whether it's like a, yes, I'm going to accept Jesus, or no, I'm not going to accept Jesus, or like, you're an idiot, get out of my face. Like none of that is going to affect us because we know who we are. And so that confidence really gives us, more of an ability, or that really the identity gives us confidence to share that gospel more powerfully and more clearly. So good. Such a good word, man. I love it. Thank you for sharing that with me and with anyone else who's listening. I think that's that'll go a long way. So dude, I appreciate you. And I thank you. I just want to say, thanks again for hopping on the call. I hope that we can have many more conversations going forward. I hope that this is like a developing friendship out here. And if you're ever out in Boston, would love to connect and hang out more. But thank you, and thank you to our watchers and our listeners. This has been awesome, and if you have liked it, please let us know. If you have questions, if you want to ask people questions about how their experience has been, or what it looks like to do ministry like this, shoot them in the comments or leave them in the reviews, and we'll definitely ask them to our guests coming up in the future. So McGarren, thank you again, bro. You are incredible. I pray that God would continue to bless you and your ministry, and love this conversation, man. You're a world changer, man. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me too. And just what you're doing with this is just so incredible. And I know it's just so impactful and such a blessing to so many people, just to be able to like go deeper with people that they see and stuff. And so I love what you're doing. It's such a cool thing. And just that you're really going all out with it and stuff. And I appreciate you reaching out to me and stuff. I really do.
Thanks, bro. Thank you. And thanks to our watchers. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Social Media Revivalists.
Okay, when I was a kid, I was just young and naive. I wore